Why is Utah truly a national success story? Well, in 2023, we proved we have remarkable resilience as we thrive and survive even in uncertain times. GDP was better than expected, and even with the Fed's hiking rates, we did see them even hit the 8% mark at one point in time last year. But that did not stop the real estate market from moving forward. We have an elite economy as Utah's job growth is consistently one of the best in the nation, and we end up being in the top 5 for job growth, often outpacing the US average. Our economy is diverse, meaning not all of our jobs are in one basket, which allows us to rank in the top 3 diverse economic states for the past 3 decades. We are now a mid-sized state, ranking 30th in population, and our population growth is pretty stable. And the only thing that has really changed is that 2/3 of our population growth is now coming from migration. So 20 to 30-year-olds are moving to Utah, helping make our state more multicultural. The bad news is Utah ranks 8th highest in median sales price, making it Utah's most unaffordable market in history. Not as bad as other states, but worse than it's ever been here. And that is taking into account the household income divided by the median sales price. And that is because every 7 years, our prices go up on average 52%. That plays a factor with the average equity homeowners have in Utah, coincidentally, is 52.9%. But the problem is unlocking this equity. More on that later. And we are seeing some new delinquencies rise, mainly in 30-day lates, not for mortgages, but for auto loans and credit cards. We're still well below pre-pandemic levels. And while everyone is struggling with inflation in one regard or another, one benefit homeowners have is that on average, they have just shy of $400,000 of net wealth, while renters are just above $10,000. That's a huge difference and not a coincidence. And even as the median sales prices dropped last year, monthly mortgage payments still were on the rise. But the good news is inflation is easing and interest rates tend to follow, barring anything insane. What we do know for sure is interest rates have been volatile, and yet they are expected to be in the mid-6s to even low 6s by the end of the year. That is great news, especially for affordability, when a majority of renters, 93% in fact, are priced out of the median sales price home. We need more affordable housing and more than ever starter homes to be built. And sadly, they're expecting new construction to be down to only 20,000 new starts this year. And next, when Utah needs 178,000 units to meet the projected demand of 248,000 by 2030. We better get started. For all the pessimists, a crash in 2024 is not realistic with a huge equity cushion. And as we head into this new year, cautiously optimistic, we have seen that not too much economic drama happens in an election year. And those years actually tend to outperform the non-election years. And even if there is another recession in the US, it doesn't always mean Utah will be in one. So what does this mean for you if you are looking at making a move this year? Well, if you are a first-time homebuyer and haven't bought a home yet, don't stress. Most first-time homebuyers are in their early 30s, but we are seeing a majority of people between the ages of 25 to 40 decide that they want their independence and they want the opportunity to create wealth. And we're not only finding options that work for them, but we also have a great homebuyer consultation that we do virtually and offer it for free that educates these first-time homebuyers on the process and what to expect throughout, empowering you to buy your first home courageously and confidently. We even offer this for people who maybe haven't bought in a few years or have never bought in Utah. We are also seeing the median age of repeat homebuyers being 55, which is about when people start to consider or looking at downsizing their home and minimizing their responsibilities. We have helped many others in the same position and have plenty of resources and people to help them declutter, organize, and make the process more simple and stress-free, all the while we're out there finding a great home and other communities that may fit their needs right now. But what if I don't want to move? What if I just want to use my equity in my home now to help ease up my monthly cash flow? Well, most people do not consider their other debts that they have outside of their mortgage, including utilities and all of that sort of stuff. So we are seeing many people who have a lot of equity, but also have a lot of monthly expenses that are starting to catch up to them. So If you haven't fallen behind on any payments, you will first want to consider a cash out refinance. Now, while that may sound stupid to trade a mortgage under 4% to one around 7%, if you are able to pay off other debts, including your higher interest rates, such as your car loan and your credit cards, it actually makes sense, as well as easing up what your monthly expenses are in total. And if you are behind on any debts, especially ones that report to the credit, you may not qualify for a cash out refinance, but you could consider a HELOC, which is typically a higher rate than a cash out refinance. Talk to a lender to verify, but is only on the equity you have and not on the total mortgage owed. If you have any questions at all or want to talk more about your specific scenario, please don't hesitate to reach out, as me and my team are always here to help.